Greetings, how are you? Thank you very much for tuning in to the Vo Show podcast, the journal, where you learn about fighting. On the last one, we talked about the 13 points. On this one, we are going to talk about the 22 imports of Vo. It's another fundamental. Before you even begin to be a student, you have to know this. 13 points, of course, were attack points in the body, the joints, the swivel points where you can stretch out a person, make their arm or leg or neck go against what it's able or supposed to do. The 22 imports are something different. The 22 imports. Why are they called imports? Well, much like, first of all, they are of import, of great import, because they are the physical training of your body in Vo, your body, and in your body in space as well. And import is like when a ship ports, or import means to bring in, and how it engages with, how it docks, how it comes together with, how it grapples with. So the 22 imports are different physical body forms, and I won't get into all of them today. The first two are one grade. That's your first lesson as a student in the Vo school. And your second lesson would be the two forms, which I won't get into now, that actually give you total body control. Much like how you see Shaolin monks have quite a bit of body control. And those are just the beginning lessons of Vo. That's just 4 forms out of 22. That would leave 18 forms, and they're all incredibly difficult. Okay. So what are the first 2 forms of the 22 imports? The first 2 imports are your stand-up, your stance. So when you get into a fight, what do? You ready yourself. You give yourself a solid base. You give yourself a wide stance or a medium stance. You're light on your toes. You have your hands up, and you're ready to kick. You're ready to punch. You're ready to come crashing down on an elbow, with an elbow on somebody. It's the fighting stance. That's the very first import of the Vo style. It's the stance, your stand-up stance. It's the first import. Second import that's very important. It's actually the 22nd import. It's the last import in the 22. But I'm going to say that it's such an import of importance that, along with the fighting stance, it is the number 2 most important thing to learn, and it's the mount. Now, what is the mount? If you're familiar with fighting, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, it's when you're on top of your opponent. They're on their back, and your knees are, around their rib cage, and you're controlling their pelvic region. You have them with your weight. Your upper body weight is down on them, and you're holding them down, and you're basically either pummeling them with fists, strikes, side of your hand strikes, or elbows, or you grab their arm. You can try to get them into a submission from there. Now it's dangerous because they're in the guard. That's when they get into the guard position. Now, which is also one of the imports of Vo, but we'll get into that again at a later time. Probably not until we have a school. Anyway, the 2 major imports of the 22 imports of Vo are the stand-up fighting stance, and of course the mount. The mount is so important. It's crucial because when the fight gets to the ground, you want to be on top, regardless. You want to control your opponent, and you want to watch out for legs. You want to be in that mount. It's crucial. And the first one is, of course, the stand-up stance, because that's what you first learn when you're fighting. That's where you strike from. It's where you shoot in from. You got to learn that technique. Okay. In the next lesson, we'll cover something that is not so much about the physical, or at least the fighting aspect of Vo. We'll talk about something health and wellness wise and spiritual wise. So thank you, and we encourage you to go ahead and I encourage you to go ahead and subscribe, and thank you very much. Find us on Twitter. I keep saying this, I haven't done the Twitter account yet, but I will. This is the last podcast where I'll say it, and now you'll see the Twitter, and I'll give you the handle on the next show. Have a good one. Thanks, guys.